Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. Small town feel with big time ideas. After all, you are entitled to Brad's opinion. Here's your host, Brad Allard.
Well, it seems like it's been a while since I've been on the air. We were on last Monday, and then we're going to have Alex Phillips on Thursday, and then the weather said no. But, and then, of course, the weather was a big nothing burger. So,
Alex is better than the weather. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You should have just pushed through and had that.
I thought about it, and then I thought about poor Taylor and that little go-kart he drives, that Tesla.
This is very true.
I didn't want him to slide off in the ditch.
He slides off on dry.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's listening now.
Dry road,
be careful, Taylor. I mean, I don't want a stiff breeze to blow that car away. But anyway, we got Josh at the handles, and he's going to do just fine and dandy. We're going to talk about what's going on in the world of the police. You brought some stuff along about phone scams, I believe. And,
lots of scams.
Boy,
lots
I tell
of
you,
scams.
I don't worry about myself as much, but you get so many of them that you just one mistake and you can really put yourself in the ditch. And also, what concerns me is my parents. Now, my parents are pretty good about not answering the phone if they don't recognize the number, but a lot of people, a lot of elderly people like my parents are the prime target for some of these scammers.
Oh, absolutely.
And you'll talk about that and just, in general, and the plans to create this kind of detention camp for people who drive too slow on Renfro.
Oh, yeah. I'm all for it. I'm 100% for it. I will put the first dollar in on that.
He's driving your day, and, and it's like, I want to get here by a certain time, but no, the old lady in front of me said, no, you will go 30 miles an hour on Renfro. And then I had another one on Main Street here in Crowley, and it's like, no, I'm going 15 miles on the speed limit, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
I'm done complaining.
No, you're good.
All right.
You're good.
Taylor, if you're listening, I need the link here, buddy. So anyway, let's talk about our sponsors. Okay. You know all these sponsors as well as I do now. I mean, of course, Our Place. I mean, everybody goes to Our Place. And, of course, there's one right down the road coming up from here, right down on Main Street in Crowley's. Our Place, too. Yeah. Did you not? You drove right by it. Did you not notice?
I took the shortcut around. So.
Okay. Well, it's right. It used to be a chicken joint. Now it's going to be Our Place 2. It's going to be a kind of a smaller version of Our Place. Yeah. I mean, it'll have a pretty wide menu, but it won't be quite the same menu. It's mostly hamburgers and stuff.
Gotcha.
But it's going to be, I talked to Otto about that, about 2 weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
And I said, when are you going to get it done? And he just like, I'd like to have it done pretty soon, but when you deal with contractors, they'd have their own schedule.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah, so he's hoping to have it open up by spring. We'll see what happens. Of course, Gina's. I'm going there, in fact, today.
I was about to say, that's my place, man.
Yeah.
I love to frequent Gina's. That's some good pizza.
I'm going there meet Greg Williams of my B&I group. We're going to visit and do some B&I work, and that's the place that we do it at. And it's because we like the service, we like the pizza, we like the atmosphere, the whole thing. And so we'll be there this afternoon.
Does B&I like to have meetings where there's pizza and beer? Is that kind of a thing?
Our meetings are on Wednesdays at 8:45 at Old South, and
not much of a pizza and beer joint there.
No, and Old South, they take care of us fine. There's no problems. We as far as like doing it in the afternoon, we've considered that, but a lot of people, they get work to do, and so it's sometimes hard to fit those kind of meetings in the middle of the day because they got their work schedule. So that's why we do it in the morning, so they can get to the meeting and then they can go about their business.
Gotcha.
But anyway, it's a great place to go for we have these meetings within the meetings, so to speak. Individual meetings, and we do it a lot of them at Gina's or Our Place.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Also, thank you to our friends over at Wild Cigar. We've done a couple there as well. And we've suggested, maybe having like a get-together over there in the evening. And we do that about once a quarter, have like an evening social hour as opposed to, strictly business. And I'm getting them over to Wild. I hope sometime in the near future because they have a meeting room. They have like a conference room. And plus, get yourself a decent cigar and decent drink. And even if you're not big into either one of those, it's a good atmosphere to do business because it's not loud and it's quiet and you can talk without having to shout and all this other stuff. And so it's a good thing. Also, thank you to Southern Jim. They had a pretty good Christmas.
Good.
Yeah. Robin was really busy, but they were kind of on limited hours for a couple of weeks, but they're out on a regular schedule now. And it's all wonderful. It's all great. It's all good. And I don't know the exact dates, but I was talking with Gayla what her plans are in the spring, and they're going to do another kind of like a jewelry bling party, if you will. She
That's
has
cool.
once a quarter, like I said, those evening events, and she likes to entertain, and they're very nice. Also, she's going to have the big party for Kentucky Derby,
Good.
which
Good.
is early May.
Right.
That's a big thing. That's like one of their biggest events. That and something around Christmas.
That's cool.
But they got, of course, the usual service, jewelry and
She's awesome. I really like her.
And you know what they get a lot is repair work.
Right.
You know, you get grandma's ring, needs a little work, or you know, you need to resize it or whatever, and that kind of thing. They get a lot of that kind of stuff as well as inventory. So drop on by. You know, it's Valentine's Day in about a month, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Well, just tell Mrs. Gregory about that. Yeah.
Hold on. I got to pull up my calendar real quick and add that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Also, thank you to our friends over at Oprah Roofing, John Williams, 817-734-2756. He's part of the BNI group, as is Gala. And he's really good to go check your roof out, and he's going to give you the straight story about the roof. You know, if your roof is fine, he'll tell you. It's not there to upsell you or give you these doomsday. He has no quota he has to meet, so he's going to tell people, well, you could really use a $10,000. No, he's nothing like that at all. You know, and plus he'll help you with the insurance, which he will tell you is getting harder and harder.
Mm.
You know, if you have roof damage and the insurance company determines it's older than 1 year, you're maybe SOL, certainly out of luck. Or surely out of luck. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's how I always know it is.
Yeah. And so, you know, you need to have it checked out because if you do need insurance, some sort, he'll help you with that. So Oprah Roofing, 817-734-2756. Also, our local real estate genius, Jeff Kelly, 817-781-0546, or at jeff@jeffkellyrealty.com. He really is very knowledgeable about what goes on with real estate. I'm going to have him back on soon. I'm trying to get him around February, trying to work out a schedule because, you know, the rates have changed.
Yeah.
And he'll tell you about, you know, what that means for houses. You know, also we have our friends Sammy Joe and Candy over at Camco here in town. They could help you with the mortgage, but Jeff knows what's going on. And I guess in your position with the police, y'all get information about this kind of stuff, about growth patterns and where it's going and all this, or is it strictly just, you know, criminal reports or whatever else?
Yeah, we're too busy chasing bad guys to really look into the future.
Yeah.
So,
well, I just wondered if it factors into y'all's thinking a lot because you're going to have more and more acreage to cover, so to speak. You know,
that's definitely a higher up
outside
of my pay grade. But
okay.
yes, I guarantee it's thought of.
I'm sure. Okay, and I'm sitting here getting all these other groups on board here. Also, thank you to our friends over at HotWorks. Michelle Humphrey was on about a month ago talking about what you need to do to take care of your, you know, holiday season indulgences, shall we say. I mean, everybody, you know, kind of lets it loose a little bit, you know, when it's, you know, it's a holiday season. I know I need to lose about 10 pounds because I kind of got a little bit lax in my discipline there like everybody else does. And it's kind of a beating, but what can you say? Anyway, you have a pretty good workout. You lost a lot of weight, right?
Yeah. I'm close to about 70, 80 pounds. Right now.
I need to lose about 10.
We should do Hot Works together. You know, as a Mr. Allard show,
well,
we just go on location. You and I go and work out at Hot Works.
That would not be a pretty sight.
It would be the best, most watched episode ever
for the comedic value alone.
Whatever gets likes.
I assume you are trained in CPR.
You know,
okay.
I've taken a course or two. I don't know if our beards might Velcro together though, so you got to watch that.
Lord. Anyway, thank you, Michelle, for what you do for the community. Also, thank you to our friends at Local Life Magazine. They had this month's editions about what we're talking about, really workout, whatever. I think Hughley was on the cover, and it's a really good magazine. I need to get Tiffany back on the show, but she's pretty busy. It's you know.
I just talked to her yesterday.
Did you? How's she doing?
Yeah, she seems to be doing really good. She had texted to talk about our top 10 most wanted list, which has kind of gone viral here recently. And
I saw it when you put a few party hats on them.
You know, like I said, whatever gets likes. And, you know, the whole point is to get it out there, to get shared. And I did see a text message between a couple of different people from different agencies when they arrested one of the guys, and they showed him the picture of him wearing the party hat, and he was just like,
Thank you.
God, Burleson, how can you do me like that? Hey, that's
Yeah, we got to
you do the crime, do the time.
Yeah,
So,
we got to keep it light.
absolutely.
Yeah, we got Burleson crime. I know it exists, but I don't have any of the kind of trepidations about like you might in a bigger city. I mean, you know, I'm sure what's going on, and you see some of the some of the things that goes on in this town that are less pleasant. But I don't feel one iota of a concern about my safety in this town. And I think that's a lot of it has to do with the Burleson PD.
I agree.
A great deal of it is the Burleson PD. So I don't, when I go to Fort Worth, I don't feel unsafe. But if you go to some of these big cities, like you read about it in the papers or so to speak, on the news about like Chicago or San Francisco or New York, it's like, good heavens, why does anybody go there? But anyway, that's their problem. But anyway, thank you. I got off a track here. Local life, it's
good job, Tiff.
30,000 homes and a lot of eyeballs see those things. So give it a shot. And our friends at Burleson Buzz, I'll be using a lot of their material with their permission, on the radio show, which I'll talk about at the very end.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, but Cody O'Brien does a really good job, and he also has a partnership with a gentleman named Ashton Nix who does like sports related stuff. So
yeah, Cody's a good guy.
Yeah, so he does a lot of good stuff. Reports on the city council. That's where I get, between the radio station I'm putting together and Burleson Buzz, we're trying to put together like a local news source because we don't really have one since the Burleson Star expired, 15 years ago.
Oh, we're kind of big enough now to need one. So
we do. So, all right. Anything else? There's a couple of nonprofit things going on. I know that next week I'm going to have the Amanda Mann Clark Project on to talk about colorectal cancer awareness.
Oh, wow.
And at the end of the month, I know I have the House of Hope. So we got lots going on.
I know as far as like nonprofits, I think I want to say the Chamber has a luncheon for nonprofits.
It does
on Thursday.
Yeah,
right?
on Thursday. Yeah, I don't know if it's. You could probably still get tickets to it.
I think there were still some tickets available. So
Melissa was talking about that last week, I believe.
Gotcha.
I get my dates. It was a week ago Monday, and she and Sarah every time they come to the show, it's like, hey, let's quit chasing all these squirrels around. I mean,
it's must-see TV. Yeah, I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, watching those two ladies interact, I'm trying to have a serious show here, and they're like, they're laughing and giggling the whole time. But they're,
I've known Sarah all my life, and
Me too.
you're not gonna, you're not gonna get a lot of seriousness out of that one.
Y'all went to high school together.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Grew up elementary all the way through high school, church, and all that kind of stuff together. So she's been a dear friend forever.
Yes, and a
young forever, Sarah, a very young forever.
Well, she's exactly what I remember her as. Lively person.
Oh, absolutely, and Melissa, bubbly and just amazing.
And I've gotten to know Melissa since she's become the Chamber, and she's the same way. And they've done an excellent job at the Chamber.
Yeah,
and so,
Melissa's greatness.
And they're starting their own podcast as well.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, and that'll be part of the radio station. I've already made that arrangement.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very, very nice.
Anyway, let's talk about you and what's going on with the police and whatever else. So how, just in general, how is things going in at the police?
It's doing very well.
Mm-hmm.
It's doing very well. I mean, we take care of all the crimes and nothing bad happens in Burleson. And, it's just, it's pure perfection.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
But how close or how far are we from the expansion of the police station?
It's getting real close.
Right.
I know. I'm not sure when the thought process was for breaking ground. I know there's been some internal numbers that get shifted around, and because of that, it kind of delayed some things. We had a pipeline that had to get moved. That was a big one.
That was a
big
gas
gas pipeline that we had to get rerouted, and they're done with that. So I want to say breaking ground should be pretty soon. I'm hoping this spring, maybe.
Well, that'd be good.
Yeah,
because I know you need it. You're practically piled on top of each other.
It is very, and I'm lucky. I got moved over into a small closet. Over at the courthouse. But the courthouse is nice and quiet, and so which is great for somebody that deals with video and voiceovers and all that kind of stuff all day long.
I need to drop by there and check out
your
operation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a desk.
Yeah.
And that's about it. So come on in, check out the supercomputer and all the shenanigans I do back there.
Yeah. Well, you've been doing this for the city for quite some time, though, right? But it's for the police, it was for the city, and over there it's pretty crowded. It's like I know the school administration building needs great expansion. Whether they get it or not, it's another question because of the financing behind it and all this other stuff. Same with City Hall. I know that basically every square foot is used, and you could probably use some expansion there.
Right.
But trying to convince people that's a necessary expense. I mean, and I'm not really being critical. It's not cheap. So,
feel free to swing by anytime. We'll take you on a tour, and we'll show you how officers have to cramp in together for a lot of things. So you'll leave there knowing it's a much needed upgrade.
Oh, I have no doubt. I the thing is, when I was with the school district, when I was working for them, everything was centered on my room 123 and my kids and my classes, and I didn't really think about the bigger picture very often unless it impacted me. But now that I'm outside of it, I could see some of the bigger needs of the district or the community.
Right.
And I could say, the school could use a new administration building, but that'd be like, I don't know, $60-70 million, and trying to pass a bond for that is going to be very difficult. So,
right.
But that's is what it is. Now, today you were talking about something that's a concern to all of us, and it's scams on the phone.
Yeah. Well, and scams. We're going to just kind of go over a litany of them. But what sparked this is I had an officer had gone upstairs, and one of my officers kind of pulled me to the side and said, "Hey, we've been talking about scams on Facebook, on Instagram, and so we've been doing a lot where citizens have been sending me in stuff. Hey, we saw this on Burleson Residents Talking, or hey, I got this email from this one person, or this phone call came in, and I've asked them for permission, just taking those screenshots, put them out there, and explained why this is a scam. We go down through emails and we list every sentence in here. This is misgrammared, so this is one of the call signs. There's an immediate need for action. You've got to do this right now. There's no delay. Do it right now. That's another immediate sign of somebody that's wanting to scam you. So he pulled me aside and said, "Hey, I was working an off time shift over at the bank. They hired me over Christmas, just to sit out there and be another presence." And he says one of the tellers kind of overly speaks and says, "Well, ma'am, that's quite a bit of money," and kind of perked his attention. So he walked over and he just kind of started talking to the lady, and elderly, and he asked her, what exactly are you doing? And she said, "Oh, I'm helping a friend buy a car." And he's like, "Oh, that's real nice. Who's your friend?" "Well, I don't really know him real well. We've been talking online and all this kind of stuff." And he's like, "Well, how much?" And she's like, "Well, I'm just pulling out a small amount. It's about $18,000.
$18,000 is a small amount.
$18,000 in cash." She's wanting that to be taken to purchase like Apple products and gift cards and stuff like that, and then sent to these people because they're poor and they're in another city, and they want to be able to get to their friends and family, and it's just a whole scam line. They got her on a hook, and there you go. And the officer, we're not going to tell somebody what to do with their money, but it is definitely our role to educate people on what this possibly is. And
there's red flags to fly.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And so he tells her, like, "Ma'am, I think this is a scam. I'm almost able to guarantee." And it took about 30 minutes, and they went through all the emails and all the discussions and everything. And she finally says, "Yeah, I think you're right. I think I'm being scammed." And he says, I haven't even helped escort her out the door when I hear another teller go, "Well, sir, that's a lot of money." And he walks over and starts talking to another gentleman. He's pulling out $20,000. And the $20,000 he was about to take down to the Bitcoin ATM to pay off the warrant to Tarrant County that they have called. And they're on the phone with him at the moment because Tarrant County is going to arrest him. There's a warrant out for his arrest. And if he doesn't send the $20,000 to the Bitcoin to Tarrant County, to the number that's international number, of course, for Tarrant County, that they're going to send people to his house and arrest him on the spot. So he's he's upset. He's a little freaked out. Well, the guy's on the phone with him. So our officer is able to take the phone and, start talking to him. And about 3 seconds into the conversation, you realize the guy on the other end is just like, and he hangs up. And our officer's just like, this is a total scam. Don't take this call again. We will never, ever, ever, ever in the history of ever ask for Bitcoin for payment. And not to mention, we're not going to go and arrest you. We're just not going to go call you on the telephone and be like, hey, we're on our way to get you. If we're going to be on our way to get you, we're going to show up. So you don't know we're on our way to get you.
Sherry Scott's watching, and I hope we can use this kind of segue to say we were praying for Larry. Do you know what's going on?
No, I didn't.
He's in the hospital, but he's recovering. It was a procedure he's going through.
Gotcha.
And so Sherry, Larry is in our thoughts and prayers, as they say, and hope he's doing well. She posted a couple of things on Facebook, but not a lot. But he's been dealing with this for a little while.
Gotcha.
But hopefully this is on the road to recovery. So Sherry,
and prayers,
yeah,
absolutely.
But, back to the phone calls. I've had, like everybody else, I get those things.
Yeah.
And I don't even answer. But I'm more concerned about the people you just described, the people that are a bit more elderly.
Oh, absolutely.
Like my parents. Now, my dad is in a state of dementia, so they pretty much took away his phone.
Gotcha.
All right. And my mom doesn't answer the phone unless she knows the number. So and my sister lives really close to them. They live in Corsicana, and she lives like 2 minutes away. And they've drilled it in their heads: do not answer the phone unless you know who it is. If you get an unknown number or a number you don't recognize, even if let's say it was one of us calling from a different number, well, we'll leave a voicemail. Never, ever, ever answer the phone, because they're going to give you these horror stories about, oh, your mortgage is about to go under, or your car is about to blow up, or, your credit card has been hacked, and you don't know that.
Right.
First of all, I've had my credit card hacked a couple of times, and I had my bank account hacked once. But they didn't call and tell me that it was. The reason why I knew it is because I check my bank account, my credit cards every day, and it's not. You say, well, that's a little bit obsessive. It takes about 30 seconds for me to check out my bank and my credit cards. Yeah. Maybe a minute if I take my time. And every day, and this is what happened to me about 4 months ago. My bank is Independent Financial, Old Community Bank for us old timers.
Right.
And I looked on there, and there's like a $3 charge I didn't recognize for like a movie. And I asked my wife, did you charge a movie? No, I haven't done that. And so I called them up. They said, well, what happens is a lot of these hackers, they're not going to scam you for like $500 hacking your system, because you'd notice it right away, but they wouldn't notice $3. Yeah. They're thinking, and if you don't notice it, they'll come back for more. So, but since I checked it every day and I saw the $3.42 charge, we basically changed my account, and whatnot, a debit card and all this other business. And
they're smart. They'll take a little, $1 or $2, something like that. Something where you're not going to notice, if you're not paying attention. And then a lot of them will realize, yep, we got the ability to pull this, and they'll wait for the 1st or the 15th, where a lot of people get paid. And then the moment that deposit comes in, they're just withdrawing as much as possible.
When I first started this podcast, I was getting together a tax number and all this other business, and I foolishly dealt with somebody. I mean, they charged me for a service that I could have gotten for free.
Yeah.
All right, that's my mistake. All right, but then I noticed a couple of days later there was like the $3 charge on the card. So I called them up, and they hung up on me. Said, okay. So I had to change credit cards.
Right.
And, it is a hassle, but it's not nearly the hassle of trying to recover your identity. Once your identity really is out there. And, of course, you got the dark web and, all this other stuff. And, do you recommend those services like we have Xander is what it's called.
Okay.
And, you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Well,
I do.
Basically, it's supposed to monitor your, if your stuff is out there on the net.
Right.
We get every now and then we get emails from Xander saying your number or your social security number, your phone number, your whatever is out there in the dark web. And we call them up, and we have their number, and we deal with them. Do you recommend those kind of services?
If you're not paying attention to your finances. You're not changing your passwords. A service like that is probably something you should look into. You know, I'm not sure it's for everyone, but you know, definitely somebody that's probably somebody that has a fixed income, somebody that is going to not be on the move a lot, so you're needing, you know, or if you have a lot of finances stacked away, your retirement, those types of things, you definitely want all your passwords secured. So yeah, a company like that is definitely not something I would bark at.
Is this something Burleson PD is involved in, though? I mean, because you know, if I get a phone call, I get a scam, you know, I just ignore it. But I'm not going to call Burleson Police. Say I just got a phone call scam.
Absolutely can. Okay. So I would actually recommend that we. Right before the show started, I got a phone call, and it was actually over an identity theft situation. So that is something that we deal with. I mean, if it's a crime, we're going to deal with it. And if you're a citizen of Burleson, then that's a perfect place to go.
Well, but how would you be able to do it? If I get the typical phone call email from that prince in Nigeria that wants my money, what can y'all do about it?
You know, if no transaction has happened, there's probably not a lot we can do, but we definitely have the ability to educate you, kind of give you an understanding of why that's not a good idea. If for some reason you clicked on that link, now you feel that something has happened or money has been taken from your account, then yeah, absolutely. Now, I'm not saying that if there's somebody in India that's pulling money from your account that we're going to be able to refund to recoup that, because now you're talking about international. But we've had situations where it's somebody local doing something along those lines, and absolutely can take that.
Is that a local issue or a federal issue? Because you are talking about interstate commerce kind of thing, and who has a jurisdiction on that? FBI or y'all?
It would depend on the situation. So it really does. Our officers are going to be the first part, and then if that turns into a federal thing, they'll get the feds involved.
Well, one time by accident, I hit the link because I was trying to delete it, and I hit the link, and I went to this. It was about one was from the toll people, North Texas Toll Authority, and said you owe X amount of toll, and if you don't pay it, and it was like $7. And I knew I had a bill but I did not know the exact amount. But I didn't intend to look on that phone. I tended to go to my laptop and go to my account and blah, blah, blah. But I accidentally hit it. And then when I saw where it was sending me, I deleted it. But I was worried for about 48 hours. That But fortunately, it didn't go any further than that because I didn't give them any information.
They will get you on all sorts of little things. We were sitting on the couch, my wife and I, the other night, and she looks over and goes, "Oh my gosh, something about our Amazon here and there, and they're gonna turn this off." And I looked at her and I said, "Well, where'd you see that?" She's like, "Oh, they emailed us and they told us to do this." I said, "Well, babe, you're looking at your email. Our Amazon goes through my email." Well, yeah, but I mean, I guess they would know that. And it's not. It's just they're going to send out. If you send out 1 million of these, your percentages you're going to get, even if you get 1% back, you got 1% back. And so these are just, they're just throwing these things out there left and right, and you have to be very careful about what you're clicking on. And I always suggest if you get something from an Amazon, a UPS, Walmart, it doesn't matter who you get. The UPS one all the time. Never go through the link they send you. Log into your account, and if there's a message from them, it'll be in your message inbox. If you got a question, then go to the call us or contact us button at the bottom, or a help button somewhere on the site, and then send them that information. Take a screenshot of the thing and send it to them. And like, hey, did y'all send this to me? Never go through a link that's emailed to you.
The two biggest ones I get on my phone are UPS and USPS, the post office, and they'll have, both will say roughly the same thing. You have a package that we couldn't deliver, so hit this link and we'll set up a time, or blah 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 blah. Forget it,
Well, and it plays on it, but it plays on your emotions too, because there's a package, Brad. There's something out there that you desperately want and need, and this thing is only a few feet away from being delivered to you. If you will only click on this and send us this information so that we can finish this transaction. And so all of these things, it's always something immediate. Oh my goodness, if you don't contact us right now. We're going to have to send this package back to where you see, this mystery package that you don't even know what widget's in there. But by golly, you have to know and you want it. It's always going to be something that's an immediate, because the longer you take to think about it, the more you realize, this is ridiculous. This has got to be a scam.
Well, my wife does use Amazon and eBay. She collects Waterford. A great bargain price. Okay.
Oh,
that's her thing. I mean, she wouldn't pay for lots of money for one, but if she finds one that she knows is valuable and it's about a fourth of what it normally would go for, that's kind of her hobby. And so we, getting packages is not an uncommon thing at our house, but so we get that all the time. And it's like, no, we're not going to engage. But sometimes even if you do all these things, they're going to come after you anyway. So you brought us some slides, I believe. So you take over from here and tell us what you.
Sure, let's toss the first one up. So these are just it's the normal common types, the email scams, the phishing ones that just kind of send you an email, kind of like exactly what we're talking about, the UPS, the something with maybe Amazon of, hey, your account's been hacked. Click this link to log in and make sure that everything is still good to go. You click on it, you put in your user info, you put your password in, you send it, it just puts you through to a weird link. But now they have all that information, and within minutes they're already ordering, everything they possibly can, gift cards, Apple stuff, and you're done. Lottery inheritance scams. Your friend, your prince, the one from Nigeria, that he's got a lot of money. Yeah. By golly, he's just been waiting for you to send it, because I know you were a wonderful descendant from Nigeria. And so I think Allard is Nigerian. Is that correct?
Yeah, close enough.
Pretty close. All right. Well.
I am the more pale Nigerian,
the albino Nigerian.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, well, good to go. Well, you've got a prize and an inheritance waiting out there. Just send him your bank information, and he'll take care of that. That's that's definitely not what we suggest. And then malware, which is going to be, like you said, I click this link and it starts sending me somewhere. Those types of things. It's going to get your information and maybe even possibly hack your phone or your email.
Well, I have malware on the laptop, and it's worked for us. It's worked pretty well,
right?
And like I mentioned earlier, I have Xander for other stuff, and so and I get reports. It can run the scans every day and see how many questionable websites or whatnot, but it didn't hardly ever, because my website usage is pretty consistent every day. It's the news and local stuff and stuff like that. So,
but do you know who doesn't have malware or Xander? And that's going to be probably about 90% of the other population.
Right.
So, they're not worried about you, because you're that minority 10% that says, hey, I'm going to pay attention to my bank accounts. I'm going to check my credit card statements. I'm going to make sure I don't click on links. It's everybody else. It's the other 9 out of 10 that these are just being sent to, and it's an immediate. I look at it, click it. I don't know, the link's not working. I put my phone up, and I'll worry about it later. And while that's happening, that site, wherever you've been sent to, is just pulling all the information off your phone and bank account and passwords and all that kind of stuff. So
I try to get my kids to do this. This happened to my son about 3 years ago, where he didn't check it every day, but he checks it every now and then. And he saw a charge from like a Chili's in Florida, on his bank account. He hadn't been to Florida. He hadn't been to Chili's, all right? And but I said, well, what date was it? It was about a week earlier than when he checked it.
Right.
And I said, son, that's why I check it every day, because if you'd have found out that day, then you can do something about it. And the bank, he also, even if he lives in Oklahoma City, he still banks here at Independent Bank, and they have protections and stuff like that. So he was reimbursed, but it's not easy,
right?
And they had to change his numbers and all this other stuff, and so. Okay, and text scams, of course.
Yeah, texting. Emails and texts are almost synonymous with each other. I mean, I look up all my email on my phone. I honestly, other than work, I can't remember the last time I logged into my computer at home and checked an email. So everything goes through my phone. So with a text scam, it's the same thing. It's a fake text that's going to be sent to you. It tells you the same thing. Hey, something's hacked, something's missing, something's up.
Sherry's got a comment about a struggle keeping up with my mom and keeping her safe from emails and text messages. She is too trusting of people. I had the same problem with my mom, but except she's not that trusting. she's a bit more cynical in her older age, but she gets hit up a lot.
Yeah.
And such. But I know, Sherry, it's a lot of the older people. I mean, we're just naturally want to help, or, we didn't grow up in that kind of this social media environment or technology environment where, we're getting inundated with all this stuff.
Yeah, and with what Sherry's saying, I mean, at this point, I would probably go the route that you went and make sure that the malware on her computer or phone is good. Make sure that she has the filters as much as you possibly can on her email to make sure that that phishing and smishing and all that kind of good jazz that comes through gets deleted, put into a junk file. So it's tough. My parents are still very, very well to do mentally, but that day's coming around the corner.
It is, and it's a beating. It really is. It's anyway, that's another story for another show. But talking about the banking alerts, I got a letter one time recently, like 2 months ago, it looked official, and it was from my retirement pension saying that my bank had made a change in my account.
Right.
And, and it may have been perfectly legitimate, but I called the TRS people and they didn't know what I was talking about. And I called the bank and they said, we haven't made any changes. The people at TRS said, look, if you don't get your money on the date it comes, which is always the last day of the month, call us and we'll look it over. And it came. So, I'm not saying I was scammed, but I took those extra steps to find out. That,
absolutely.
I didn't just panic and say, oh my Lord, I need to make all these changes. That letter, I don't think it was a scam because they had information on it that TRS has. And I don't think
you'd be amazed to know how much information of yours is out there. Yeah. It's crazy.
But it didn't take anything at all to put a TRS letterhead on a piece of paper.
Oh, absolutely.
And send it to me. But I made sure I called the right people, and they said we haven't seen any changes.
Well, and not even to poke at your generation, but if you sent a letter, if you send a letter to Gen Z, they're probably not going to read it. But they know that if they send a letter to somebody that maybe is not Gen Z, go that route.
No, I'm old. I got it.
All right, cool. We'll just, we'll call it what it is. If we send it to somebody who's in an older generation, that's the same thing as sending an email or a text to a Gen Zer. So that's another form. And you did the right thing. You went to the source material versus going through the letter. And then you checked it out and everything seemed to come through fine. So just tear up the letter and toss it in the mail.
And so, like I said, it may or may not have been legitimate, but I found out. Cherry has more to say.
Yeah, go for it.
You're right. It's not 1950 where people, of course, there's scams going on since Jacob scammed Esau, but, but still.
It's a very good biblical reference.
Yeah, I like that. I thought you might like that.
Yeah, I like that.
And Sanford Mason, who's with the American Legion, one of the best pieces of advice I got, knowing your parents and minor children passwords. My sister has all my parents' passwords. I don't have them, but I don't need them. My sister takes care. She's got power of attorney, and I got other aspects of their estate, so to speak. We kind of split the labor up. That way you can keep up with their emails and accounts for phishing and fake notices. I know my sister does have access to my mom's email.
My mom is diligent about making sure we know all the passwords to all the things.
The only person in the family that doesn't know my passwords is my wife, because I want her, I don't want her to think, well, I have his passwords. I don't need him around anymore. So, but
we have a very similar wife.
Yeah. So, he's annoying me. I got the passwords. Anyway.
No, very good advice there, Sanford, because that is very true. You definitely want the people in the know to have an understanding of how to get into your account. If anything, you're in a car accident and you need information on your insurance from work. You want people to have that information. Just the right people, not the wrong people.
Well, Sherry takes care of Larry's too, which is a good thing. I take care of Robin's. And, we have a division of labor. She yells at the insurance companies and the doctor's office, and I take care of everything else.
Me too. Me too. I will be, I'm too trusting and I'm too kind, and I'm the one that when they call and they're like, we demand this, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna give you all the stuffs and we'll suffer over here. And Tiffany takes it from my hand and she's like, I'll take care of this. And then 3 minutes later, the other people are crying, and
that's exactly right.
I'm just cheering in the background.
If people that know Robin, she's a very soft voice and she's very Southern and she's very sweet and loving, blah blah blah. Right? Okay, but when she gets on that phone with insurance companies, she'll have them in tears in 5 minutes. I am positive they have her number, on like some list on all these companies. If you get a call from Robin Allard, just do what she wants,
right?
And get it over with, because it's so funny.
Well, and I know when mine's crossing that line because the Johnson County in her comes out, and I start hearing that, sir, ma'am, and I'm like, I'm going to the dogs, and I would just leave the room, and so we know our place.
You can sometimes I've been, and she has it on like the phone so we can both hear it. You know? It just says, hello, I'm Robin Allard, and I could almost hear the sigh on the other end. Okay, Miss Allard,
can we speak to Brad, please?
Yeah, please,
sir, ma'am, please.
I don't know if she's going to hear this, but if she probably, she's heard me say these things before. But anyway, you have another slide, I believe.
Oh, yes. Okay. I think we have five maybe.
Okay.
Look at there.
Let's move along here.
I know. Impersonations. This one's one that's starting to happen a lot more, especially with AI. So there are a lot of places right now that. For this impersonations, it's going to be somebody like the IRS, your credit card company. They call and they're like, "Hey, we're with Credit Bank 123 or whatever it is, and your credit card is expired, and we need you to, we need you to update it and just send us your credit card information, and this is what we'll do." Obviously, that's just to get your information. Getting it from TXU or the electric company or the city of Burleson. We get this one a lot. My my dear wife works over in our utility billing at the city. And because of that, she'll get a call from people and they're like, "Hey, why did y'all call me and tell me that my payment's late and I need to submit this and do this?" And she's like, "We don't call you and tell you those types of things. We'll send out one gigantic email if your payment was late, or we're going to have to shut off your water, but we're not going to call you and tell you to get Apple gift cards and bring it, send it to this place to pay for your water bill." So people will use the city of Burleson as one of the scams. And then the law enforcement scams, which is something I kind of touched bases on with the older gentleman at the bank at the beginning of the podcast. You'll get a phone call that says, "Hey, we are from the city of Burleson, and you have a warrant for your arrest, and you need to make a payment immediately. You can't, don't stop. Don't pass go. You can't do anything. You have to send us X amount of thousands of dollars. Do it right now. By the way, go get cash from your bank and then take it over to this Bitcoin place. Send it to this number, and it'll get paid. If not, we're on our way. We're going to send an officer over there to arrest you right now." And all of that again. I think a normal person would take a phone call like that and just kind of laugh, but it's aimed at people that that's a fear to them, and that's usually going to be your elderly groups.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much.
Right. They have, one email or text I got, as the better way to put it, not an email. It was a text, was about from irs.org.
Okay.
All right.
Good old irs.org.
Yes. irs.org is not is a fake account. It's irs.gov for any government website.
Right.
And I found that out, not the hard way, but I did look up irs.org on my laptop. I wasn't going to do any transactions with them, but I just want to see. And it looks pretty legit.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to be real careful. Got to know what you got. So any government base from the IRS or anybody else is going to be GOV, not ORG or com or net or anything else.
Right.
I found that out because I was curious, because what is this org business? Because I know from the schools, all the schools have EDU, and those are, those are email addresses that are unique only to those kind of institutions.
Right.
So any of these scams are going to have a different type of address of some sort.
Yeah, and one that you have to really pay attention to will be the ones that send it to you, and then it says, well, click here, and you look at it, and it'll say like Amazon.com, and you're like, well, that's Amazon.com, but it will be AMASON.com, and it's something just a minor adjustment in it, and that's sending you to a totally different link. So at tech support scams, I love watching the hackers that hack hackers, the stuff on YouTube where they'll get a call in from India, and they're trying to get $1,000 from somebody. They think they're a little old lady, and this person's a master hacker, and he's hacking into their system and pulling money and stuff, and making them cry. Yeah. But these happen. You get a call, or something pops up. Malware will pop up on your computer. It says, "Hey, your computer's infected. Click this button. Call this number," and you call this call center. And it's out of India, and they're just like, "Oh, no, here we have to do this. You got to let us take control of your computer," and you're giving them control of all your data, and they're just draining your bank accounts.
And if people are thinking we're being hard on India, they should know that most of these are out of country.
Yeah, no, a lot of this is going to be from India, Pakistan, Africa, those types of areas.
Because we don't have the jurisdiction to deal with it, and so
absolutely,
we're not trying to make some sort of comment about India, but that exactly is where a lot of this is done, and that's just the way it is. Or so fake offers for insurance, loans.
I tell you what, I get
warranties.
One every other day that's a telemarketer call, and then I just send it to voicemail, and they're like, "Hey, these are the loan amounts that we can give you, and we're going to give you an interest rate so low," and they just want you to. I mean, if I need a loan, I'm going to my bank where I'm or a place where I understand I'm going to get a good rate, and I'm going to do the thing. I'm not going to get a loan over the phone by somebody who just randomly called me.
Yeah.
But sometimes you get to a place where some people are just in a bad spot, and they hear, "Oh, we can make this happen," and then they drain the small amount of money you do have.
Well, that's why I always try to deal personally as most as I can, because like right before we got on the air, I got a call from my mortgage company, and I think it's legitimate and all that, and they want me to refinance and take out a home equity loan or whatever else. If I'm going to do that, I'm going to go to Candy and Sammy Joe or Camco. All right, that's why I don't have a major bank system. Like I could have a bigger bank, but I want to I want to walk into independent bank and talk to Ms. Birch, who I talk to a lot.
Yeah,
I don't know if you know who she is, but she handles a lot of the business, and I want to talk to a human being, and that's the way I've been on everything. When I was setting up the radio station, getting an LLC and all this other stuff, I could have done all that online, but I want to go and talk to a human being.
Right.
So I call them up, and they held my hand through the process.
Unfortunately, the ones that are going to get tech scam a little bit more are going to be your olders, and then your way youngers. The way youngers, I was actually listening to a podcast on the way up here, and one of the things they've been talking about is research out there that Gen Z, about 27 and below, there's about a 30 to 40% that have a phobia of talking on the phone. And so because of that, they like to deal with everything through an app or through text message. And a lot of these scammers will say, "Hi, we know you're looking for a loan. This is the easy way to do it. You don't have to talk to anybody. You don't have to see somebody face to face. Send us your information." And it seems so easy. And that's their way of communicating that it's an easy way to scam a younger group.
Well, I don't like talking on the phone either, but I've always had that phobia, even long before this era of technology. It's funny. My first job was in teaching, was with Dun & Bradstreet, and I had to do a lot of phone work, and I'm like, I had to overcome that literally, and I still do. I'll talk about the radio station at the end, but when I'm going to try to approach potential ads or sponsors or whatnot, I'm going to do it in person, as opposed to calling on the phone, because people, they get inundated with phone calls, they get inundated with emails, and I want them, if I want them to be part of the business, I think it helps that they see me, and they could, probably for every 10 places I visit, I'll get one they'll come across, but I'll probably be treated fine. I think people in this town in particular are going to be, they're not going to be rude. They may not be interested in what I'm offering them, but being on the phone, I think it's going to be a lot less successful, because they're going to say, "This is just another scam."
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate that we've come to that point. We're getting close on time. So we got a couple more slides?
Yeah, we can run through them real fast. Let's see. Romance scams. I tell you what, I hate saying this. So on my first day on the job, or one of the first days on the job, I did a ride along with one of our officers, and our dispatch calls him and says, "Hey, Mr. So-and-so's on the phone again. He wants to talk to you." And so I get to listen to this phone call, and essentially this guy is being scammed for tens of thousands of dollars to a fake woman who he's never met. They are romancing over the internet. And unfortunately, in this guy's case, he just kept telling our officer, he's like, "It doesn't matter. I don't care how much money I'm sending her," which probably isn't even her, but how much money I'm sending her because she makes me feel good. And you get. Look, anybody that's read a romance novel or saw a movie that
Hallmark,
Hallmark Channel. I mean, that talk about scam right there. They draw you in with this want for human connection, and they do it digitally, or they do it over the phone, or they do it however they do, and then they'll sit there and say, "Oh, I'd love to text you tonight, but I can't because I can't pay my phone bill because of this and that." "Oh no. How much is your phone bill?" "Oh, it's only like, $80. I'll send it to you." But that gets that hook in.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, you're sending tens of thousands of dollars to this person because you've built this romantic relationship in your heart and in your head. And it's abuse.
Is that what the kids call catfishing?
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that term.
I don't know what that meant until my son kind of explained it to me.
Right.
My wife said, one time, this happened about a few months ago, I get a text, or an email rather, saying, want me to join some sort of romance club and whatever else. And I kind of laughed and showed Rob, and she just said, "Send them your picture. They'll quit it." Yeah. So thanks.
That's
Robin.
a catfish right there. Look at that.
They won't send anymore. Don't worry about it. Just
So you got romance scams, you got realtor scams. That's a big one right now, especially for people out of state. They'll go online to try to find a home here, and then there's one for rent or there's one for sale, and they go through the entire workings of it just to move. They sell their home. They move down here only to find out that the rental place has been, it's a scam. It's not even. It's either A, not for rent, or B, it's a listing, but the people have copied the listing and created their own little account for it, and you're out thousands of dollars, and you just show up to an empty house that you can't get into, or it's occupied because somebody's already rented it. They've been living there for 3 months, and the whole time, all the pictures you've seen are ones that show it unoccupied. And let's see, giveaways, prize scams, kind of the same thing. I mean, that employment scams. I mean, everything that is on these lists. It's always this is so good, you can't pass up this opportunity. You're just about to receive kind of the giveaway. Hey, your package is in the mail, Mr. Allard. All you have to do is click this link, and you're one afternoon away from having your wonderful little widget here. And boy, how happy you're going to be. And it just plays on those emotions and those needs for those types of things. So,
but and almost every one of these things we've gone through, I've had over the years. Something like that. And what's really sad about it, in a sense, isn't just the old people and young people getting scammed or attempts to scam anybody, but there are people that use social media and use this process for legitimate business purposes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like I mentioned about, going to do it on a personal basis, the reason why, among other reasons, is I want them to see me. I'm a human being and not a bot. But also the fact is that they get inundated with this stuff, and it makes it really hard for people, and I know in business, to use social media or other types of technology to promote their businesses, legitimate businesses, and people use Facebook and they use Instagram and all this other stuff for legitimate purposes. But then, but there's so many, trap doors you got to watch out for.
Right.
And that's what bothers me, is because I know a lot of people that use this, this type of process to try to promote their business, and they're not getting many results because so many people are so used to being or having attempts at scams that think it's all scams.
Well, and I would just say that if you find something on Facebook or Instagram or whatever it may be, and you're like, nah, this seems like something I would want, do your due diligence. Go out and search the company. See, are they through the Better Business Bureau? Look for records. They have a website that you can pull up, but don't go through their links. You do it on your own and try to find that out there. Ask people that have dealt with them in the past. Contact them, Facebook Messenger or whatever it may be, and just don't go through the 5 stars. Find somebody that did a 4-star or a 1 or a 2, and just kind of get an understanding of who the company is.
Right. I get every now and then I get stuff on my Facebook Messenger, inviting me for this, that, and the other.
Right.
And I just delete it.
Yeah.
And, and it's unfortunate. It really is, because I talk to business owners in my BNI group and all, and they want to use certain types of technology, but they're getting more and more reluctant to do it because they know that people are just shutting it down.
Yeah.
And that's just unfortunate. Do you have any more?
We can just jump on to the last one.
Okay.
That would be, I think it's going to be just some of the tips.
Okay.
Yeah, never share your personal information. Don't click on links. We've talked about that. Verify everything. Enable 2-factor authorization on accounts, even though that is annoying and it drives me insane. It's so much easier to try to log in and then have to put the code in that it texts you than it is for you to lose all that stuff.
I got about 7 or 8 different groups I deal with, credit cards, or even getting on like websites like Dallas Baptist,
Right.
So they're going to the 2-factor verification.
Huh.
So just about everyone seems to be going to that.
No, it's smart.
I don't know if I told you this or not, but I'm no longer with Hill. I retired, and it's and nothing more than that, right? After 24 years, I've done enough, and I'm tired of talking about the same things. And so, but they have 2-factor verifications, and they also have us go through training about cybersecurity and all the tricks and the trades. So a lot of this I got from Hill.
Right.
I guess when I say I'm no longer with Hill, I want to make sure they were great to me. I just had 24 years is enough, for me.
Well, and then the last one just being, report them to authorized platforms. The Federal Trade Commission, you're going to be a number in a bucket. I mean, but contact us, especially if you feel like you're being scammed. You were scammed. You keep all your receipts, keep your evidence, keep everything possible. And if you start seeing scams and reports, hey, take a screenshot, send it through the Facebook Messenger to the Burleson PD. I'll throw those things out there on a web and show people why these things are scams.
Well, also kind of to plug a couple of people I know both Tiffany with Local Life and a friend of mine at BNI, Dee Dee Simpson with Thrive. They do social marketing for you,
right.
Social media, and I think if that's part of your budget, that you ought to make it part of your budget because they can, if you try to do it on your own, and I've tried to do it on my own a little bit, but not near the scale that these people can provide for you. But if you try to do it on scale, there's going to be a lot of pitfalls. Yeah. So you need to have somebody who knows what they're doing if you're going to do it at that level. Now, for me, at this modest little podcast, local stuff, I don't need quite the international reach. But if you're looking to, really branch out, I would talk to somebody that does this professionally as opposed to just trying to wing it on your own, because they'll have safeguards that you may not be aware of.
Right.
Do you mind if I talk about the radio station?
Go for it.
Okay.
Go for it. I'm interested in hearing.
Well, the target date is February 3rd.
Nice.
It's Community Radio TX. We haven't changed the logo yet, but it's fine. Doesn't matter. Community Radio TX. And Taylor just told me today that the website's up.
Nice.
And the Facebook page is up. But really I'm not at the point where I'm really full fledged. I have it on the beta version right now just so I could work with a playlist. But my goal is twofold. One is for local advertisements, because we don't have a local other than Local Life or Burleson now, but we don't have a daily one in a sense like a radio station or a newspaper and whatnot. So I'm going to probably in the next couple of weeks, I may be coming to your store with tears in my eyes. Please advertise. I've got bills to pay, et cetera, et cetera. But the good thing about it is it's not going to be just music. It's also going to be local news, not just my podcast, but I'm going to, like we were talking about before the show, I'm going to get the Burleson PD's you do. How often do you do a Facebook video?
We try to get them. We're not very good at having a consistent, but the topics that we cover have been pretty extensive. We've gone over the fentanyl stuff. We've talked about drugs in schools.
And that's going to be on the show. I mean, we're going to work out a way. I don't know the technology, but I know it can happen where you can send it to me and I can put it in a radio station. I already have cleared Sunday morning for my church. And I'm
very good.
Yeah. And also there's another church that wants to do like a weekly Bible lesson.
Oh, that's cool.
And so, but also I'm going to talk to some of the other podcasters about having, there'll be brief news segments that'll be drawn from Burleson Buzz and from Peak One Sports and things of that nature. But we don't have, it's hard to do it through social media alone.
Right.
Because, if you want to do Facebook, you have to, do all your talking through Facebook. You have to access Facebook. Whereas in this, you could just put it on. It's going to be the radio station will be accessible on Live 365. It's going to be TuneIn and Odyssey, and you could just put it on in the car or put it on your laptop when you're working or around the house or whatever else. And so that's the value I'm going to try to sell them is that, rather than say, well, I'll do all this stuff on Facebook. Well, fine. If I have time, I'll go on Facebook to find you.
Right.
All right. Or a lot of people don't get on Facebook every day.
Yeah.
But they drive every day.
That they do.
Yeah, and the music's going to be 60s, 70s, 80s. I did this before, and I had like all these songs. I greatly scaled down the playlist to something that's a bit more, what people listen to, put it that way. But anyway, my goal, my due date is February 3rd to have it fully formed.
Very nice.
But it is, like I said, if you just checked out Community Radio TX on Live 365, the live365.com, there is an app for it as well.
Yeah.
Like communityradiotx.com. Just look on, that's the website. And if you look on, like I said, live365.com, you can just type it in on the search bar and it comes up.
So you talked about podcasts, news, skimmed over music, said 60s, 70s, and 80s. Give me a 60, 70, or 80.
Like
today, I can look forward to.
Well, like today, I'm going to listen to it as I was doing some my usual routine, and they had the Eagles, and then the next song was from Boston. The next song was from like the Doors. The next song was from something Eric Clapton. The next song was something early 80s, popular songs. Some of the songs are not songs I would listen to, but I'm trying to broaden my own reach, so to speak.
I mean, you haven't hit a bad one yet, so.
Like, what was it? Something from the 80s, something like a little bit of Duran.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
And then like yesterday, I listened to it most of the day while I was doing my stuff, and I had, I did some 60s pop tune, and then the next one was from Al Green, whom I love, and then I did a song from, well, I didn't do it, the algorithm did it. The next song, I believe, was something from A Journey and that kind of stuff. I like a lot of the 70s soul.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Earth, Wind, and Fire, and that kind of stuff. No heavy metal, no hair bands. Now, the thing about it also, on this station I'm working, you can make special shows. All right, like I could do a show, an hour on Bob Wills and Texas swing music.
Okay.
Or I could do one on 50s blues. And you're not part of the regular play rotation, but you can set them aside for special shows.
Nice.
And I'll probably do that again. Greatest hits of the 70s or something like that. Doobie Brothers are on there. A lot of Steely Dan.
Little Stevie Ray Vaughan hour.
Yes. Nice. Well, here's the thing about it, though. The program will not let you do an hour of one musician.
Really?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a limitation.
So it's a genre.
Yeah, genre. So it'd be like Texas blues.
Okay.
Where Stevie Ray's in it, but not solely him. Elton John, I know I put some stuff on there yesterday from him. I promise you, most people will be familiar with the music.
Gotcha. That sounds good.
Yeah. So like I said, if you want to check it out now, you
definitely
can.
Definitely tune in.
Yeah. If you want to check it out now, you're just going to hear music because I'm just still working on it. But my goal is February 3rd. Have it fully formed, have the podcast lined up, have advertisement lined up, regular news segments. And when I say news segments, we're talking about like 5 to 10 minutes at most.
30 and 50 past the hour.
Yeah, something like that. Well, and you could schedule things.
Yeah.
So if I did one, recorded one at last night, I can schedule it for noon today. It's no problem.
Gotcha.
So anyway.
Sounds exciting.
How about it, Josh? You think that's pretty cool?
Yeah, sounds great.
What kind of music do you listen to, young man like you?
A little bit of
60s,
everything.
80s. Look at that man right there.
No, he doesn't.
No, I can hang with the best with the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Okay, so you don't. I don't have stuff like rap. I don't have stuff like from the last couple of decades. It's just I don't know it, and I have to own the music, by the way, to play it.
Oh,
I
gotcha.
can't burn these off of Spotify or websites. I have to buy the.
So you're going
rights.
back to your old album with the CDs and just opening it up and just page after page after page, and you're uploading that.
I have a lot of CDs.
Still got that CD album sitting in the closet somewhere.
I got a whole bunch of that. It's all online, and it's so I own it, so I can do it. But I can't. If there's a song I like, but I don't own, I have to buy it from iTunes. Usually is what I do.
Oh man.
Well, it's the rights issue.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with all that. But Live 365 pays the copyrights for what I'm doing.
That's good.
So I just don't want to go in that gray area of ripping songs off of other servers or whatever.
No LimeWire, no Napster,
No Napster,
nothing like that.
Nothing like that. No.
There's somebody you know exactly what we're talking about because you did the exact same thing.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to, we all did it, but I'm not going to try to monetize it. So
Oh yeah, of
that's the
course.
difference.
Nobody would do that.
So it's all above board. So
Good.
Yeah. Anyway, tomorrow I'm going to have Alex Phillips on the show. We're going to have a special time because of last week's, major weather event, if you want to call it that. And I'm sure they'll be very interesting. Next week on Monday, it's Inauguration Day. I'm going to have Greg Cooper on. Do you know Greg Cooper?
I do know Greg.
Yeah, he does a lot of local tax stuff and politics stuff, and we're going to talk about what's going on in Austin and property tax and probably talk a little bit about national. He has a podcast too.
Oh, very cool.
And the Texas Transparency Project. So anyway, I've kind of run over, but it's all right.
Good company.
Give us the last word here, buddy.
Sure, absolutely. Don't act before you take an opportunity to think about it. That's probably the best advice I can give is scammers are always going to prey on those who have to do it immediately. So if you get anything that is sent to you, emailed to you, called to you, just any sort of form of communication to you that says, do this right now or else, it's probably a scam. And if it's too good to be true, it probably is. So that's the best I can give you as far as advice in a nutshell. Just, and then, check your parents, every once in a while. Just check up with them. Ask them if they've been talking to anybody that you may have concerns over. And, just be up front with them.
I appreciate you coming.
Sure. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, it's no problem. What it's going to be the next topic, you think?
I think we'll put it as the mystery topic.
Mystery topic.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
Tune in.
And honestly, it's like what happens, that we need to talk about immediately. So we could be talking about scams again, or why you have to leash your dog. Who knows? Who knows?
I don't really know of any controversy, so to speak, with the police station. I'm pretty satisfied with them.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
I think people are going to be very happy with what we have, the product that we're given, and the space used, because we're still using our old police department and the courthouse. So we're just giving room for expansion, and we're going to need it. This city is not getting smaller. So.
Alrighty. Well, we'll see y'all tomorrow at 10:15.
You can ask Alex about that.
I will.
Yeah.
And y'all take care, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, sir.